Steve. This evening we're with Jeff and Sherry Bogie. They own the Alley. Now the Alley has been a sponsor of the Southshore Anglers for 7 years, since our first tournament back in '08. And they're going to explain to us tonight a little bit about how the Impact Academy has helped their family, both their daughter and changed the lives of the other 4 children that they have. So Jeff, if you would go ahead and start.
I'll tell you, Impact Academy has had an unbelievable effect on our family. For one thing, my wife, the year before my daughter would have started public school was the year that the special ed teacher got taken out of the special ed class after having locked a Down syndrome boy in the restroom for an entire day in the dark. Now, I'm not saying that that happens all the time, but it scared my wife and I. And so we sought out places for her to go. We found out that church schools are exempt from the Americans with Disabilities Act, and so they don't really provide services to particularly the severely and profoundly mentally handicapped children. And that's what we're really talking about with Impact. Our daughter has both Down syndrome and autism. And before we went to Impact, my wife for years and years drove all the way down to Pinellas Park with Sherry.
It's an hour each way, so it was 4 hours a day in the car.
4 hours a day in the car, and you can imagine we have 5 children. Our daughter is one of triplets. Then we have 2 older children. So for her to take 4 hours or a little more every day, 5 days a week out of her life, you can't imagine how difficult that was. And for Impact to have opened and to provide services not just to the mentally handicapped and the physically handicapped, but they take on the tough cases. They take on the forgotten ones, the ones that are severe and profound, the ones that really need the help the most.
So how has it affected the rest of the family, the other children?
Well, our daughter in particular has affected the children because Kirsten has taught us more than you can possibly believe. But my children, even right now, my sons, who are her triplets, they volunteer at Impact Academy. They've become a part of it. It's become a part of our family. And really, that does more than you think, because when you have a special needs child, there isn't a lot of a community. You'd be surprised what a lack of support there is. People think there's support, but there really isn't. And it gives a forum for people to bond with each other because we learn from each other. And so when you say how it's affected our family, it's given my wife time to be a mother to our other children. It's made our other children better people by getting more involved, and not just with the mildly, but taking on the full range, learning to sign language, learning these other things, which makes them more compassionate people. I can't really say that much more because...
What would you say it's like to have the administrator have skin in the game, where Colette Steinbeck, the administrator there, has a child with autism and wants to help not just for her son, but wants to help for all those other kids? What's that like?
I think it's wonderful. I think it's very altruistic of her. And the sad part is she shouldn't have had to have done it. I think other people should step up and help. Other people need to, like the Southshore Wranglers. The Southshore Wranglers are the first group that has ever come to me wanting to help that group of people. And we do a lot of philanthropic work here. The first ones who have ever come to me wanting to help the severely and profoundly handicapped children.
Well, to be truthful, Colette Steinbeck has everything to do with that, because she is a force to reckon with.
You're right, and she is a woman of great determination.
Yes. And
I
that's-
mean, unbelievable determination.
I think she developed the buddy ball program, and she got the confidence from that, and she just said, you know what? If I can do that, then I can take this on.
So how do you thank people for that?
I think you help them as much as you can help them. She wants to know that somebody has her back. That's all. That's all she asks for. She'll do all the work. She's got shoulders broad enough to carry the load. She just wants to know that somebody has her back.
And that's what the anglers are doing.
That's what. And the cool part of it is, we also understand how important that computer lab is going to be for them, and how important for nonverbal children
Yes.
that a little iPad can be with a communication application. It's like a godsend from everything that I understand.
Our daughter is on it constantly. She has, like I say, autism and Down syndrome. And that iPad,
It's her life.
it's her life.
And I'm sure it's made a complete difference in your lives. You know, it's at least you know whatever problem there is, you know what it is, or whatever she needs or wants or whatever. I can't imagine.
Well,
So
it makes a huge difference in her world because otherwise she withdraws. And you'd think that's withdrawing, but that's not. That actually makes her act out then, because she becomes friends with the people on that. She really does. She becomes friends with them, and they also teach them in that.
it's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. It's as important as anything the Southshore Anglers ever done in our 7 years. Everything's important, you know, to somebody, but this really, really touches us. And it's meeting Colette was like, okay, now we've met the most driven woman I've ever seen in my life, and that's been the cool part.
I couldn't agree with you
But-
more. I remember vividly the day that I met her. Actually, she sort of drives me nutty sometimes with her determination and things, because she just hounds and hounds and hounds with it. But she does it for all the right reasons, and that's why she's a winner, and that's why she's going to accomplish it. I just wish more people would get involved, because what she's doing is work that a lot of other people should be involved in too. Thank God for Colette and people like her. They're
Well,
special people.
The Southshore Anglers would like to thank you for all the support that you've given us in the 7 years that we've been doing this. And it's a pleasure. It's so easy to do this, basically because we understand what families go through. And after this, we're going to do a little picture tour of your facility here. And we would like folks to take advantage of the fact that you have not just a bowling alley, you have a place where people can shoot pool, you have a restaurant, you have a game section for all the kids that like all the little games, and a place where people can have their own special events. Even a couple meeting rooms for civic events. It's really been an important part to the South Shore and the Riverview area, and we appreciate everything that you, Jeff.
Well, and we give those rooms, as you know, we do it for free. We are totally family. I said we have 5 kids. Bowling centers, and I'm not sure this is a bowling center. It's a bowling-based center. It's a family center. It's a place where families can be, where you know if your child's up here, they're safe, and families can be safe. I'll tell you, one of the most touching things about this business to me is when I watch a grandfather go out on the lanes with their grandchild, or a parent with their handicapped child, because our family is also one of the major funders, if not the sole biggest funder of Special Olympics, Hillsborough County, at our other center, Brandon Crossroads Bowl. But to watch the connection that people get out on those lanes, there's nothing like it. To watch that connection and that bond that can happen generationally, meaning from a grandfather to a grandchild, or from a parent or a sibling to a special needs child. There's something there that just grabs them about throwing that ball down and knocking over pins.
Good deal. Thank you, guys. We really appreciate it.